Today, we're at the NCIA conference in San Jose, California, and my name is Kirk Miller, and I'm a risk manager and insurance counselor for 9 Point Strategies. 9 Point is a cannabis risk management and insurance agency focused exclusively on cannabis and hemp, and we have offices throughout California as well as throughout the United States, and we provide insurance and risk management in all 50 states. Today I'm sitting with Andrew Deangelo, who is the co-founder of Harborside, and I'm just going to ask Andrew a few questions and get his insights on where he sees the industry today and where he sees it in the future.
So, hey everybody. Hey Kirk, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
So Andrew, Harborside has gone through quite a few changes here in the last 12 to 24 months. So you care to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, I'd be happy to talk about it. Well, we've all gone through a lot of change since January 1, 2018 when adult use came online in California, and so that was a big change for everybody. And most recently, Harborside managed to go public on the Canadian Stock Exchange.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. It's a great story, right? This little dispensary that got attacked by the federal government, that tried to get shut down in the forfeiture action. We're still litigating the 280E case. Oh my God, talk about risk. But this little dispensary that could manage to get through all those things, and now, two outlaw freaks, Steve and myself, are now publicly traded companies. So it's an interesting journey. It's been a lot of fun.
So anything's possible, folks.
Anything's possible. Never give up. Yeah.
So I was recently in Harborside and I saw a little construction going on. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about that, Kirk. Yes, we're launching a tasting room, an on-site tasting room. This is not a lounge. This is not a place you sit for hours and have cannabis. It's a tasting room where you come in, you can try it before you buy it.
Wow, that's great.
Just like the wine people do, and you can learn about it, more importantly. So it's gonna be an educational experience for everybody, as well as a tasting experience. So we hope to launch that by Labor Day.
Okay.
We'd be open by now, but we tried to make this hemp composite material, and so we're hoping we can still get some hemp composite as part of the construction, and that's delaying us a little bit.
Wow.
But by Labor Day, we hope to have that open, and then we'll be hosting our own events as Harborside. We'll also be inviting brands to come in and take the tasting room over and teach people about their products and teach people about their company and where they come from and what they do and why it matters, and let people taste their products. And so we hope that it will not just be a space for Harborside to sort of show off and educate the community, but everybody in the industry in California, all the consumer-facing brands will have an opportunity to come in and have that direct experience where you can actually try the product, right, before you have to purchase the product. And so we're hoping that we'll be pioneering this for everybody else, and 5-10 years from now we'll see this kind of model or something close to it, just about everywhere.
That's great. Being able to try the product and sample it and see if it's a good fit for you, because cannabis is plant medicine and it does react differently to each human being.
Yes.
Even though there might be some similarities, so it's always good for somebody to be able to test out this product to see if it's gonna respond with them properly.
Yeah. So. And whenever you talk about people consuming psychoactive material, any psychoactive material,
correct,
in a business,
well, there's risk.
There's risk, right?
Yes, exactly. So folks out there that are thinking of consumption lounges, you're going to need a special risk manager, an insurance firm that understands the cannabis space and the DRAM laws that are able to protect folks.
What is a DRAM law?
Well,
that's kind of
DRAM policy, I should say. A DRAM policy.
What does DRAM stand for? Do you know?
It's a measurement.
Okay.
And so it's used in the alcohol industry.
Okay.
It's actually a policy that protects the liability of a bar that serves alcohol.
And that's a law.
Well, that's a policy. It's a policy. But But then there are laws in the alcohol space
Okay.
that actually limit the liability exposure for bars and retail establishments that sell and serve alcohol. But I imagine that those laws still aren't in place yet for cannabis.
No, we need to pass that kind of legislation, not just in California, but all the legal states. Getting some help from our friends in the insurance industry to lobby for that, I think, is kind of a crucial piece to it, and just educating the folks in Sacramento and other state houses, and because I believe that's state legislation, not local legislation, if I understand correctly.
Correct.
And until we have that, our industry, I think, is a little vulnerable. You know, like one of the things we've done as we've iterated the tasting room, we have the license from the city, so we've had a few informal events. We've created a waiver, right? Legal has created a waiver that everybody has to sign.
Right.
And the waiver says you're not inebriated on any other substances, you're not mixing this with, you know, pharmaceutical medications, that you're doing this on your own, and then it has all this scary language in it that you're probably familiar with, you know, warning you what could happen, you know, if the very worst hypothetical were to come true. And, you know, that's what you guys do, is you help people plan for the worst hypothetical that may in fact come true.
Right. And, you know, while insurance is a key component in risk management, you know, creating a culture of safety is actually the most important part of risk management.
Well, we do that, you know. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because we train. You got to train your people to not only educate the folks about cannabis, be excited to share the cannabis with them, but also keep an eye out on them, right? Make sure that they're not getting too stoned. Make sure that, I call it impairment. We don't want anyone leaving there impaired, right? We don't mind if people are feeling a little relaxed, but we don't want anyone walking out of there impaired.
Right.
And we'll actually take the car keys away from somebody, right?
Well, you have plenty of security, I know that.
Yeah. Well, that's something, you know, we want everyone to feel safe in the facility, and so that's there too. But more importantly, I think, you know, it's up to us to create the vibe and the feeling and that environment of safety, right? And that's why we're calling it a tasting room, not a lounge. That's why we're limiting how much you can take.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we're limiting how much you can take.
Got it.
Okay.
You're not going to overserve anybody.
Not going to overserve. You can only get 3 tastes.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a maximum of 3. So if it's an inhalation product, you'd get 3. You get 3 inhalations, right?
Got it.
If it's a drink product, you know, you'd get the equivalent of 3 sips, I guess.
Got it. Okay.
So that's how. One of the ways we're managing risk, right? And one of the ways we're managing our own staff, right? To make sure that, you know, we limit we create a boundary on human error.
Right.
And make that human error field as small as we can. Because God forbid, you know, we don't want anything to go wrong here, right? We don't want anyone to get hurt because they overconsumed or they left the facility impaired. And we have great models in other industries for this that we're taking the best stuff from, and of course, our vendor partners, the folks whose products we'll be serving for taste, they play a role too, right? So we're going to be asking them to provide educational materials and safety materials for folks, and to take home with them, to take with them with the product. And I think we can also leverage technology in some really interesting ways so that we can get people educated on their devices. So we're really excited about the tasting room because I think people are frustrated when they get their cannabis at the dispensary. There's no real model in society to share it and be social with it. You know, basically the answer is go lock yourself in your house and smoke it.
Right.
You know.
And cannabis really is community, and we want to, you know, it's nice to partake in cannabis when you're with your friends and, you know, like-minded individuals. So,
yeah, I heard an interesting statistic on my panel yesterday, only 9% of alcohol drinkers drink alone. Only 9% of all the alcohol consumed is consumed by somebody by themselves.
Right.
Cannabis is 65% alone, right? Now that's not because cannabis is antisocial.
No, it's the complete opposite.
It's because of prohibition, right? We're all scared to admit that we smoke cannabis, so we hide, by ourselves. And so part of the vision of the tasting room is, let's break those walls down and let's invite people in without shame or stigma to taste a little cannabis, to talk about it, and to know that the sky's not going to fall on their heads or anybody else's heads if we do this, and if we do this right. And a big part of that is mitigating the risk. So of course we're working to do that as many ways we can.
Well, and I know 9 Points does some work with Harborside, and we're honored to be a strategic partner with Harborside. Let's talk about another topic that I know is challenging for you right now, and that's banking.
Wow,
I know you were able to take electronic payments before, and now that's stopped, and I know just that everybody's having challenges in this arena out there. So.
Yeah. Well, we can, at the counter of Harborside, we can take debit cards.
Okay.
But we can't take credit cards.
Okay.
And certainly we can't have any kind of debit or credit card on our shopping cart for our delivery program or for our web order pickup program. One of our most popular programs, that something like 20-30% of all of our sales happens on a pickup counter.
Wow.
So people order, they pre-order on the shopping cart, then they come in and pick it up and they pay for it, and it's all ready for them to go, right? Because people are frustrated. There's some lines sometimes at Harborside, right? So we've created a program where you can web order and then pick up, and you don't have to really wait in line at all. And soon we'll be launching little lockers. So you just go up to the locker.
So like an Amazon locker.
Yeah, we just got to figure out the payment, right?
Okay.
So we're working on a way to do that with another company that has a program where you put basically money in an account from your checking account, and then you can use that.
We could use that
for this particular program. We're still working out the kinks there, but these are some of the things we're trying to do to kind of get around the banking constraints, right, and help people. But it's terrible what's happening with banking. People are losing their banks. Harborside's lost, 10, 12 banks over the years. We have a very good banking partner now, and it's been relatively stable since 2018. But it's a terrible problem in the industry. We got the Safe Banking Act that the feds are. I think there was a hearing on that yesterday, if I recall correctly. And it's amazing to me that we're making more political progress at the federal level in DC than we are in Sacramento and California. It's just unbelievable to me.
Which is challenging, seeing that California is basically the beginning of the green rush.
And one-party rule.
And one-party rule, too.
One-party rule.
I mean...
And we cannot get it done. Oklahoma has got, I think, more dispensaries than California now. Oklahoma.
Well, we need these municipalities to step up.
Are you kidding me? Of course we do. And if they don't step up, we need to force them to step up.
Correct, because the people the people have asked for their medicine, and they're asked for their,
The people have spoken with Prop 64. Are you kidding me, man? It shouldn't take a whole nother thing now.
Right.
But it does, and so we have to activate locally. If you're in a local community that's banned in California, please raise hell with your politicians. If you have to launch a recall campaign against them, do that. If you have to put something on the ballot that lifts the ban and licenses the supply chain, do that. Get activated, get angry. That's what got us this far. That's what we've had to do, and that's what we're going to have to continue to do in California.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
That's right.
I think we'll stop there. This has been a great conversation with Andrew Deangelo, the co-founder of Harborside. And again, my name's Kirk Miller, and I am a risk manager and insurance service provider for 9 Point Strategies. Thank you all. Cheers.